Hello and welcome. In this video, we're exploring the latest updates to Canada's immigration system in 2025. If you've been considering moving to Canada, whether as a student, a worker, or through family sponsorship, the landscape has changed. Canada is still welcoming newcomers, but it's shifting priorities, changing targets, and creating new pathways. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll explain the current immigration system, break down each pathway you can take, and share practical advice to help you succeed. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of how to plan your Canadian journey in 2025 and beyond. Canada is one of the most popular destinations for immigrants in the world, and with good reason. It offers economic opportunities, political stability, world-class education, and a high quality of life. But it's not just about opportunity. Immigration is also crucial for Canada. With an aging population and a declining birth rate, Canada depends on newcomers to fill jobs, support industries, and strengthen communities. That's why immigration policies change so often. The government is balancing labor shortages, housing challenges, and social services, while trying to make sure newcomers have a good chance of success. Let's start with the numbers. For 2025, Canada is planning to welcome 395,000 new permanent residents. That's lower than last year's plan, and it's the first time in years that we've seen immigration targets come down. By 2026, the number is expected to drop to 380,000, and in 2027 it will drop further to 365,000. Why the drop? The simple answer is pressure. Over the last few years, Canada brought in record-breaking numbers of immigrants and international students. This boosted the economy but also created shortages in housing, healthcare, and social services. Housing has become a major issue. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, rent prices have skyrocketed. Hospitals and clinics are struggling to keep up with the demand for services. Many Canadians have been vocal about the pressure, and the government had to respond. Lowering the immigration target doesn't mean closing doors. Instead, it means Canada is trying to match newcomers with real opportunities, so that when you arrive, you can find housing, access healthcare, and actually succeed. In addition to lowering permanent resident numbers, Canada also introduced a cap on temporary residents. This includes international students, temporary foreign workers, and visitors who stay long-term. For 2025, the cap is about 673,000 people. That's a big reduction compared to previous years, and it will get smaller in 2026 and 2027. For international students in particular, this means competition is tougher. But for those who do get in, opportunities may actually be stronger because schools and communities will have more resources to support them. Here's something important. More than 40% of new permanent residents in 2025 are people already inside Canada. That means international students, temporary workers, and even some visitors are getting priority when applying for PR. Why? Because they've already adapted to life in Canada. They know the culture, the workplace, and often already have housing and friends. For the government, it's a safer bet that these individuals will succeed long-term. Now let's talk about express entry. In the past, express entry heavily rewarded people with job offers in Canada. But in 2025, job offer points are gone. Instead, Canada is focusing on occupation-specific draws. That means if you're a nurse, a truck driver, a construction worker, or a caregiver, you may get invited even if your score is lower than others. Canada is targeting the jobs it desperately needs, not just the people with the highest test scores. Provincial nominee programs, or PNPs, are also shifting. In 2025, the government required that 75% of nominations go to people already living in that province. This means if you're studying, working, or even just living temporarily in a province, your chances of being nominated for PR are much higher than someone applying from outside. Provinces want to keep people who are already contributing to their communities. Canada is also testing new pilot programs. Some of the highlights include enhanced caregiver programs for people who care for children or the elderly, rural and northern pathways designed to bring immigrants to smaller towns, francophone programs that support French-speaking newcomers outside Quebec, and a new Manitoba pilot to support regional labor needs. These programs may seem small, but they often become permanent streams if they succeed. For students, the situation is more challenging. In 2025, applicants must now show proof of $22,895 Canadian dollars in savings to cover living expenses. This is nearly double what was required just 2 years ago. On top of that, rejection rates are high. about 62% this year. That means fewer students are coming, but those who do are expected to be financially prepared and ready to succeed. Despite changes, express entry remains one of the fastest ways to immigrate. If you're in Canada already, the Canadian Experience class is your best option. With just 1 year of skilled work experience and moderate English or French scores, you may qualify for permanent residency. The system is designed to reward adaptability, so having Canadian work or study experience gives you a big advantage. Provinces also have their own focus areas. Ontario targets tech and healthcare workers. British Columbia often focuses on trades and graduates, and Atlantic Canada has its Atlantic Immigration Program, which encourages newcomers to settle in smaller provinces like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. If you're flexible about where to live, these programs can be a faster path than express entry. Pilot programs may sound experimental, but they can be very effective. For example, the Caregiver program allows some applicants to apply for permanent residency right when they arrive. Rural and northern pilots give smaller towns a chance to attract talent. Francophone pilots are helping French speakers outside Quebec build strong communities. One of the biggest trends in 2025 is the transition from temporary to permanent. Many international students and foreign workers are now expected to move into PR status through the Canadian Experience class or Provincial Nominee programs. This gives them stability while also helping Canada retain people who are already settled here. Family sponsorship continues to be strong. If you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, you can sponsor your spouse, children, and in some cases, even parents. Business immigration is also open, though requirements are stricter. Entrepreneurs and investors may qualify through provincial business programs. And let's not forget humanitarian pathways. In 2025, Canada has set aside about 58,000 spaces for refugees and people in need of protection. So what's the best strategy in 2025? Here are 3 key points. If you're a student, be prepared for higher financial requirements, but know that completing your studies in Canada still gives you an edge. If you're a skilled worker, look at occupation-specific draws in express entry. Even if your score isn't the highest, your job might be in demand. If you're flexible, consider smaller provinces or rural towns. These areas often have faster processing and better opportunities because they need newcomers the most. The bottom line is this: Canada is not closing its doors. It's reshaping immigration to focus on real needs, jobs, communities, and long-term success. If you plan carefully, research your options, and adapt to the new rules, your Canadian dream is still possible. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. I'll keep you updated on the latest immigration news so you can stay ahead.